Hello Vikings and welcome back to the Valheim Guide episode 22 today, and can I just say a very happy new year to you all. I hope this will be a fantastic 2022 for you, and obviously I'll be doing lots of Valheim this year on this channel. I'm very excited for the year I have ahead of me and hope to see many of you on my streams. Now, talking of streams, that was what I did on my last stream. We got to building this, so today is going to be all about this, which is my portal room. So it's going to be a bit of a building focused and a decorating focused episode, so let's jump into it. So as you can see, this is a reasonable size structure. If I go inside, it probably gives you actually a better idea of the scale of this thing, where we've got the two levels here of portals. So we're going to have this sort of semicircle on this side and on this side of portals downstairs, then the stairs going up and portals going all the way around up the top. So the first thing I want to do is actually mark out where all those portals are going to go. And I think this will be a bit overkill. I don't think we'll need this many portals, but the nice thing about that means that particularly on the upstairs, I think we can actually decorate some of these portals a bit nicer. So maybe on the upstairs, I'm thinking we can have some of the boss portals, because these are ones that I won't be going to very often. I'm not going to be refighting Bone Mass or Moder or whatever all that often, and we could try and theme them a bit, maybe even refight each of the 5 bosses so we can get their trophy up above them and that kind of thing. So that should be kind of fun, and that's what we're going to be working on today. Now, the first thing I wanted to do in today's episode was name this thing, and looking at it, there's only one name that I can actually give this thing. Can you guys guess what it is? You know what, if you want to try, go ahead, pause the video right now. No cheating, guys. I will know. I wouldn't know, but just don't cheat anyway. But I think up here we can put the name somewhere where it's going to actually stand up. Maybe up there is good. Okay, can I get to the side just about? So it's of course going to be the beehive, because it looks a heck of a lot like a beehive to me. This was not my intention, but to be honest, it's quite beehivey. I mean, if I get a beehive out, where are they? Just under here. All right, I couldn't find the beehive, guys. Okay, it's here. This is why I had to do a cut. Anyway, you know, like even with the door at the front, it's like this little bit at the front. I don't know. I'm seeing similarities. That's the name of it. The beehive has been built. So in terms of how I actually built this thing and everything that I've done here on stream, I'll just talk to you guys about how I did that in case you were looking to do something similar. Obviously, the first stage is to flatten all of the land, and you guys know how to do that, right? You dig it out, you hoe it out, all that good stuff. Then we had to build this circular shape, and the way that I did this is a little bit funny, really. So we got these pillars here to mark the front of it. So if I get a bit of stone out, I'll actually show you what I mean. Okay, here we go. So these pillars here mark the front, right? And they're sort of just straight like this. Then we've got these ones here, the stone wall 2x1 in between, which was, from that being straight, was 1 click to get it into there. And then this right here is obviously the same. This one here is the same. This one here is the same, and by the same, what I mean is like this one here, I didn't have to use my mouse to rotate this any further, right? I didn't do any of this stuff. It is the same as all of this was until we got to here. And then when we get to this one, it's exactly the same again for these stone bits in here. So that was like the middle ones here. And then when we got like past that, we rotate them 1 click further. So I realized that might not have made any sense whatsoever. So I'm actually just going to build this a little bit and show you exactly what I mean. So for the front here, right, we've got this one here just like this. Then what we did is kept this one like this. We did 1 click and we put it in like this, so it snapped to it. It's not far away, it's snapped into it. Okay, I'm stood out of the range of the stone cutter apparently, so that's in there like that. Okay, very good. Then for this one here, we didn't do any rotation, we just placed it down. That's this little bit of wall here. The big wall that went like this, again, same thing, we just snapped it on, no rotation needed. For the next pillar, no rotation once more. Okay, again, stone cutter problem, so like that. Then we did the bit in between, which is this one here, and again, no rotation. But when we get to the next pillar, this one here, we do a 1 click, and again, we get it snapped in just like that. And this process continues. So I'll do one more just to show you in case you are looking to build something similar. But so we build that one down there. We get the stone pillar. We place that in there. We place the stone 1 by 1 right next to it as normal. And for the next pillar, we rotate 1 click and keep it snapped. So not like this, but snap like this. And by doing that the whole way around, we got a circular shape. That's how I did it. And this was largely down to the size of what I needed. So if you wanted to do a different size, you might take out some of these bits, right? So this is to do this exact size. But if you took some of these bits out and started to rotate the, just do 1 click on your mouse a bit sooner, you could obviously get a smaller circle that way. Guys, I really hope that makes sense. Please ask any questions if you're not sure, and come to my streams and ask me as well. And I'm always happy to answer any questions and help you guys out. So then for the entranceway of this thing, you can see if I get out a big stone wall here, the entranceway would be about that sort of size. It's like a little bit bigger than the stone wall. This just kind of worked out naturally. Basically, once I started from this pillar and built all the way around, I got back to being pretty close to it, and you can kind of see that it's basically about 2 stone floors apart that I made this for the entranceway. It's a nice size entrance. I didn't bother putting any doors on it. I may add doors later on. So for example, I was considering that we could add potentially these dark wood gates in here. I think they could look quite nice, and perhaps we'll do that later on this episode. I'll see. But I was happy to just have something I could get in and out of easily, as it is a portal room. So the idea, of course, is you're moving around as quickly as possible. And then I just put these arches here, of course. course, and I built in these little bits of wall here, as you can see. Let me just get the hammer. There we go, like these bits here, and the same on this side, so that it just basically covers up the gap in between, because we've got the stone wall that goes around the outside like this. And then on the inside, we have this stone wall here, as you can see. Now, you might have noticed this one here is a little bit different. So what we've got are the stone pillars are placed like, like basically level with this one here. And then you're already starting to click. So from the stone wall, like if that stone pillar is there, immediately what we're doing with this one is giving it a click, right, to go around. And this is like I was saying earlier, you can click a little bit sooner rather than like building out before you start to make your circle, if that makes sense. So for these, it's just literally like the stone pillar being placed, then the stone 4x2. So it's a pillar with one click, 4x2, the next pillar snaps to it, the next 4x2 clicks, the next pillar snaps to it, the next 4x2 clicks, and so on. I really hope I'm explaining this well. I'm trying to explain this in such a way that if you were trying to build something similar, it would make sense. I will be as active as I can in the comment section of this video to try and help you guys out if you have any issues. So in terms of the height, obviously, as you can see, this is 2 4x2s height, and that was quite a nice height for the portals on the ground floor to have a little bit of space above them before the ring above came into play, which I thought would be quite nice. It allows us to add some decorational stuff if we want to. In terms of the outside, if I go to the wall out here, you can see we've actually got 3 4x2s and then also the wooden wall, which I'm going to go in and show you guys now. So the reason for that is I didn't want to have just stone. I thought it would look a little bit weird. I think the stone and wood mix is quite nice. So as you can see, once we get to the third bit of stone wall here, we have... Okay, I heard a death mosquito then. That scared me. I think he's outside, but he might be in here in a minute. But get ready for that. So yes, after the third wall here, we have the stone wall. Sorry, not the stone, the wooden wall, I should say. The this one right here, normal wooden wall, as a ring all the way around. And that went about in the middle of the stone wall. So if we get a bit of stone wall out, if it's placed this way, about the middle of the orientation on the top there. And obviously, it's not a perfect circle because it's Valheim. So different bits, it's like further or more close to the edges. But it looks pretty good all up, I would say. Then, of course, we do the roof. Now, the roof is the really higgledy-piggledy bit and the bit that probably looks the worst in this build, but I think it's okay. I think it's good enough. The thing is, if you look really closely, you can see little gaps and things, right? But it does technically work as a roof in that it will protect this wood here from decaying and that sort of thing with the weather. And also, most of the time when you're in here, you're not really going to be like looking around. Oh, there he is. You're not going to be looking around like really closely and really slowly every little bit. So once we get all the decorational stuff, I don't think it'll matter too much. Let me just kill this death mosquito and then I'll explain a little bit more about the roof. Okay, so in terms of actually building the roof, what I did is I started off with the 45-degree roof like that, the steep one, right? And I did, I think, yeah, 2 of those going all the way around. Now, very quickly, as soon as you get to a bit of a corner bit, you'll see here, if I just get the hammer selected, things overlap a bit, right? And that's why we do have some of these gaps and it's not like perfect. If you built this a slightly different shape, like instead of going for a circular shape, if you went for like an octagon, for example, then you could probably get this to snap a lot better and look a little bit cleaner and that sort of thing. It just depends what you're going for. I wanted to challenge myself a bit to have this circular build, which is why I did it in this way. But you guys may want to go in a slightly different direction. But as I say, we got 2 of the 45-degree roofs and then we did 2 of the 26 degrees. So it kind of slopes inwards, kind of goes up and then comes in like this. And we've got this big circle here. I wasn't worried about weather coming in here because we've got all stone here. So there's no wood at the moment to be damaged. I will have to consider that when I'm doing the decorating, which is why we'll do more decoration up the top than down at the bottom. But I think it's kind of a nice open plan build. So I just wanted to give you a bit of an overview of the beehive. This is what it looks like from up in the air. I actually think it's one of those builds that kind of looks better from up in the air than it does when you're on the ground. But eventually, when we're like building more of the town up around this, we'll be further away from this. And I think from a distance, it might look better. A bit like me, actually. I've always looked better from a distance too. So I guess my builds are reflecting that. But I have to say that I think if we go down this route, this is going to be a nice build that we're not going to think too much about in the future with those little patchy bits. And from the inside, this is how it looks. I'll try and get a bit of like an aerial view now. Okay, so this is like a bird's eye view of it right here. So yeah, that's how the build looks. I've got to say I'm reasonably happy with how it turned out. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments though, guys. If you have any suggestions or things that you're going to build, I'd love to hear about it. And of course, any questions on how to build it, please do let me know. So some of you may remember that I made a Greydwarf farm in the last episode, and this is obviously where it was built before. And I came here to get some Greydwarf eyes in order to make up all the portals for the portal room. Waited for ages, and I was like, I don't think any Greydwarfs are spawning. That's kind of weird. I wonder why that is. And then I looked up, and the spawner is gone. I don't know what happened when the troll attacked me. Maybe the troll destroyed the spawner, but I've now built all of this for nothing, and there's nothing I can do to fix this because the spawner's gone, so the only way I can get this back is to build it around another spawner. So my Greydwarf farm lasted all of a couple of days. So I'm very sad. It's just like, I did all that work and got very, very little from it. However, I suppose the only good thing about this, I'm trying to find the silver lining, is that what I'm going to do is make in a future, probably in a stream, because I've done the episode on how to make the farm now, I'm going to make another one, another Great Dwarf farm, and this time we're going to make it so troll-proof that it's not even funny. We're going to have big walls around it, you know, walls of actual earth that trolls can't touch. So yes, rest in peace, Great Dwarf farm, take one. I would like to say you were well used, but you weren't. I got one use out of this, so yeah. I just thought I'd share that with you guys. This is a sad moment for me. It's my saddest moment this year. So I did manage to go and get a load of Great Dwarf eyes, and as you can see, the portal room is now pretty much complete in terms of the portals being in here. Now, they still need to be named. At the moment, a lot of them are just blank and connecting up with each other, but it's looking pretty good, and I have to say, I've really liked the way that this has turned out. Now, the next thing to talk about is the portals and the decoration side of things. As I mentioned before, the upstairs area here, the portals are a little bit more spaced out than they are downstairs, but even with that extra spacing, we've got more than I think we will ever need in this world, which is awesome. So now what I'm going to do is look at decorating a few of them, but I have to say this is going to be an ongoing project. Like, for example, I really like my idea of the 5 boss portals, which I'm thinking maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that there could be a really nice place to put them. And if we had the 5 boss trophies hanging above them and stuff, it'd be a really nice like area for those portals. So things like that are going to obviously like take quite a long time for me to do, and I'm not going to be doing it in today's episode, but I'll do it in streams and just add to it as we go. But I will get on with doing a little bit of decoration, particularly the lighting, because it does get very dark in here at nighttime, and we'll see all of that stuff on cam, but just want to give this little update now that all the portals are in place. Well, I've gone ahead and added in all of the lighting, as you can see, and what I decided to do was go for the resin torches downstairs and then add the sconces to the upstairs. I thought it'd be nice to have a bit of a mixed bunch, and it really looks a lot better now that it's lit up. It's still a bit of daytime here, but let me go ahead and make it nighttime real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like at night. Okay, just use the cheats there just to turn it nighttime really quickly, just to show you this, and I think I actually prefer it at nighttime. It looks really cool, I think, where it's a bit more dimly lit, but with the light of the portals and the sconces and the resin torches, I'm really liking the way the lighting has turned out. So a pretty good start in decorating it, actually, just having this lighting done, and yeah, I'm liking the way this is going. So the first thing I'm trying here is to add a bit of a lip to the stone. You can see on the top level on this side here, I've added these wooden beams around. So this is what it looks like without over this side, and this is what it looks like with on this side. And I have to say, I do think it looks better with from a bit of a distance here. I think with is better. Let's also go upstairs and have a look. I haven't actually done this yet, but yeah, no, I do feel this is a lot better. I think maybe there's a couple areas like here where there's overlap, so I might need to try and clean those up. I wonder if we can do that. So if I got rid of this one, for example, could I somehow, because it's not going to be perfect, but we maybe just get it kind of better, like that might be better. Yeah, I mean, good enough is good enough, I think, right? Close enough is good enough. So yeah, I think this is nice. So it adds a little lip up here. I think I'm going to do this the whole way around. So that's the first little thing that I'm going to add. With the lip built, it actually allowed me to place some signs down above the portals, which wasn't planned, but is quite nice because now we can name all of our portals as we go through. I also decided to add a couple of guards, and of course they have to be wearing the root armor, the wonderful new root armor. I did decorate the shields, but they just come out as normal sort of wooden shields, and they got the bronze spears. At the end of the day, this is an important place, so we need guards here to make sure that, you know, no one's coming in here who shouldn't be. So that's what they're here for. I also, as you can see here, I've added this lip now to the stone stairs. We've got this wooden lip here, which I think just makes it look a little bit better and kind of ties it all together because it tops in, or connects in, I should say, with the lip at the top here. So that's pretty good. So that's where we're at currently. Now, what I wanted to do now is actually look at something I haven't tried before in the game, and that is to do a bit of floor decoration. The floor in here is quite nice. I like that it's all stone, but I think maybe just as we come in here, we can maybe do some sort of floor decoration. I'm going to show you what I mean by that in just a second, but yeah, I'll get some stuff prepared here and then we'll take a look at that. Okay, so I was playing around with the floor a little bit, guys, and this is what I ended up coming up with, which is not terrible and not great. It's just something to take us away a little bit from the color of the stone. It's, you know, black and it's brown rather than the gray of the stone, and I don't hate it, to be honest. We've just used the deer rugs here. I had to dig down a bit underneath because these tar or the dark wood beams here, naturally when they like snap to the point, they stick up a bit. You can see like how this is sticking up here at a different level, and I wanted it to be as flush as possible with the ground. Now, unfortunately, because the way this build turned out, again, it being a circle has made some difficulties. One of them is that the door is not exactly centered with the stairs, which means this is also not exactly centered. This does annoy me, and it will annoy me every single time I come in here, and I know some of you watching will be the same because there's a little bit of OCD sometimes out there with building. I get it. It does annoy me. We're not going to think about it. We're going to pretend this doesn't exist, guys. We're going to pretend that it is in the right place and all is well. And as I'm talking, I'm wondering if I move this No, not happening. Okay, so we're all going to pretend that it is perfectly in place. I mean, it's a Viking build. Maybe things don't have to be perfectly level, okay? Anyway, I think it does break up the floor nicely, and I'm reasonably happy with how this has turned out so far. So just taking a final look at the portal room, this is how it now looks, and that's me stood in the middle there, just for context. And I think it's looking pretty good. The portals all around with the lip and all, I quite like that. These little guards here, pretty happy with them as well. And as I said, like with the upstairs, we've got the ability to do a lot of decorating when it comes to these portals, but this is going to be a bit more of like an ongoing project, rather than something I wanted to do today. Otherwise, this episode would have taken weeks, I think, to have actually made. The floor thing, I'm still not certain. I do like it. I just wonder, maybe in the future I could expand this a bit. You know, I'd like to try a lot more with this, because floors are quite important, actually more so important than the roofs, I would say, because you see them a lot more. They're a lot more prominent in the builds. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Not a bad episode in my opinion. Like, I'm just happy to have this done now and looking how it looks. So we are, of course, about to end with the dad jokes, but all that's really left for me to say right now is thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Why can't a leopard hide? Because he's always spotted. What do you call an illegally parked frog? Toad. How do moths swim? Using butterfly stroke. How does a cow do math? Using a calculator. What would bears be without ears? B. Why can't you have a party on the moon? No atmosphere.